So what are some things that, as Airbnb hosts, that we can do to make our homes, because I'm literally going through our home in Jackson and it would be a nightmare for you.
Right.
It would be a nightmare for you. So, I mean, what are some things that either, that we can do to make it more, comfortable and accessible for you?
For sure.
And is there a way beyond this conversation where we could find that out? Like, is there a website that, or do you provide that information where it's kind of, here are some things that you can do to kind of go above and beyond, so that it's not just to code, but
right. It's that next standard, for sure. I think that it's
not
all
even comfortable, enjoyable.
It's enjoyable,
right? You're on vacation. You want to enjoy it. You don't just want to be
My
comfortable.
experience needs to be up here,
right?
And that's what I was thinking. I'm like, so this is my goal. This is my venture. Very baby little seed moment right now, but anyone wants to help a girl out, let's work together. So, I think that the biggest thing is obviously getting in the door. And you're going to be able to see right away if yours is going to be able to fit in the group or not. If there's an elevator needed, it's going to be pricey, so we know that. But, if there's just a couple steps, do a beautiful ramp, and it can be beautifully done.
Sure.
Like, you don't want to see a hospital unit on the outside of your unit. It can be very well done. They're getting more modern, sleeker, beautiful. It's great. So getting in the front door is obviously huge. The bathroom is really where the comfortability needs to happen. Think about it. So if you want to get it right up to the sink, so having that space underneath for the knees, having that open and clear.
Not having like a traditional.
Not having doors.
Right.
Yep. And we did this at one of our homes as well. Is that I can actually open up the doors, so we still have storage underneath, but it's been cut out. So you can still have, some storage units. So there's ways, again, you don't have to redo this whole bathroom, but you can open it up, I can slide under, brush my teeth, things like that.
So to that end, is there manufacturers and people that are creating this, or is it custom?
It's usually pretty custom.
Okay. So
in
there's
my
another
plethora
huge
of
business
ideas,
opportunity,
it's
right?
huge. It's huge. My dream is to do beautiful ramps and beautiful shower chairs. The shower chairs are horrible. Even in my house right now, it looks like it's a hospital unit. It's such a bummer, because this is something that could look really pretty. So even just being able to, I can't stand up.
Right.
I got to sit down in my shower. So the shower is huge. Okay, so picture the experience. So a roll-in shower is ideal for me. A shower head I have to be able to have a handle. So it can't just be a shower head. And this is where I've seen things that are to code. I went into a perfectly roll-in shower unit, and it was just a head. So it's like on my knees and I'm trying to wash my hair, or it's like right on my head. And then, you've got the nozzle, if you are able to pull it down, making sure that if you come in to clean it, you're pulling it down to a standard height. So 9 times out of 10, I do a roll-in shower, my maids come in and she puts it all the way back up, and I'm back to square one. Simple fixes. Right?
Right.
Simple fixes. So, but yeah, that's something that I really would love to see.
What about in the
happen.
bed? Is there anything?
Bed, just really a great standard height. So, we have got a lot of raised beds. It's just getting it down to more of a standard height. I should actually pull out my tape measure, which I have with me right now, and we should figure out what this one is.
Yeah.
And so I can just slide over easily.
And
not
the
having
kitchen,
that's kind of a tough one. Again, just that element of being able to put your knees under is really big. So the kitchen, we usually can manage fairly easy. That's nothing that you're going to be, that does typically require a bigger remodel.
Okay, but so does your kitchen look like our kitchen? So you're living in a totally normal kitchen, nothing specific.
No, nothing specific.
So then the disability accessible, did I say it correctly?
Yep.
Okay.
Or you would say ADA or
okay,
ADA.
so the ADA, let's say the ADA short-term rental business model, the kitchen would look the same. The bathroom would be pretty similar, except that you'd have a place to put your chair underneath the vanity.
Yep, you're gonna also have a highest possible toilet seat.
Okay.
That's gonna be key. Again, you can do the bars on the walls. That is gonna take it to an ADA standard. It can still look really, really pretty. The Westin, they're doing beautiful things. Their bars, take a look at maybe some photos, get some ideas. They're real sleek. They almost just look like a towel rod. They're beautiful, they're chrome. It doesn't have to look like a hospital unit, right? So that's an element. A removable shower head is huge. Let's see here, what else time you can do hardwood floors, that's always key. Hardwood, tile, not a lot of rugs. In the kitchen, don't just rely on bar stools. So make sure you've got something that's gonna be a regular table height, even if there is a bar at the kitchen, but you also have an actual kitchen table where possible, because that's gonna make it really comfortable. I hate eating like this.
Yeah, I can imagine. So this is really helpful and eye-opening, right? Because I've actually never sat in a chair or tried to navigate or tried to live in a chair.
Sure.
But so through your experiences, it's remarkable. But maybe you could give us another example. I don't know, when you went to a concert or you went to the Tony Robbins, you shared with us that experience. I mean, just how far behind the times we really are would it, I think, enlighten people, and maybe that'll be the light bulb moment where some entrepreneur watching this says, I'm going to fix it, I'm going to start slowly, but I'm going to do it. So tell us, what's life like?
Well, I love the story of UPW. So Unleash Power Within, Tony Robbins, I'm so excited. For me, this is a big deal for me.
You traveled from Maui to Dallas.
From Maui. I took 3 different planes all by myself. I was so excited of just this, just traveling and doing it all alone and paying for it all myself. It was a really big moment for me. And I was super excited. It was super empowering. And I got the executive seat, and I thought it was just gonna be great. I said, okay, I don't need anything. I don't need the lots of thousands of dollars down at the floor, but I got a good seat. So I arrive early, I'm so excited, and lo and behold, I am literally the first one in line. I am so excited. I am thrilled. I ended up getting to go through the line, up to the front. There are perks of this chair. I call it VIP access. That is also perspective. I do get at the front of the line. I go right past security at the airports. It can come in handy, and I'm gonna use it. So I get to the front of the line. I'm the first one in the building. I've got this video. There's no one else in the building except for me. And I'm filming all of them outside, just miles of people. So excited. I can't wait to get to my seat. I'm gonna be right up front. And I go, and I've got this guy, Steve, with me, and called him my angel with 30 wings. He's just he could always find a way. I knew it, right? So he takes me to my seat for the ADA seating. I'm against the wall. You can't go any further back than my seat. And I'm looking at this arena of 8,000 empty seats. Got this selfie of me, and every seat is empty. I'm the first one there.
Crazy.
And I'm against the wall. It was so crushing. It was so crushing. And I just thought, this doesn't feel right. This just does not feel right. There's no in between. I've either paid a ton of money to get up front, or I pay for a good seat and I'm still at the back. And
you got there early,
and I
right?
got there early. I mean, I had planned this sucker out. I came in 2 days early because I had to take the red eye, and I had just planned it out. I was so committed. And Steve, comes up and he says, how's your seat? And I just says, is there anything else? Is there anything else I can do, or where else I can sit? Should I be carried? And he's like, people are up and down. You're not going to be stuck in a seat, even if someone carries you to one. And so he says, let me see what I can do. I'm not going to make a single promise. And about 20 minutes later, he came and introduced me to another angel. I didn't realize how lucky I was at that event. And I got there and met this woman. Her name's Nyla. And she just comes up to me and she just says, this weekend, no matter what happens, you get out of your head. She touched me on the head and she says, you play from your heart. Full on from your heart, and then it's always inside you if you need it. And I just thought, I am so committed. I'm going to take every ounce of that advice and just go for it. And she says, and she kind of takes a pause, and she says, I think I'd like you to come be my guest. And I was blown away. She said, you get to
Amazing.
come down to the floor. And I was just shaking. I didn't even know what to say, what to do. I was like, I'm gonna get kicked out. They're gonna see my real lanyard and be like, she doesn't belong here. And lo and behold, she brought me down. She introduced me to Brian, the floor manager. I'll just never forget all the details. And he changes my lanyard color. And she says, Sarah, this is Brian. Brian, Sarah can sit anywhere she wants. And I just thought, oh my God. And he said, where do you want to sit? And I said, I want to touch the stage. I just want to touch the stage. He says, come on up. And he puts this big white piece of tape down on the ground and says, this is your spot. And in that moment, I said, okay, Sarah, it is all out. Like, as my gratitude for where I am not holding back. And I realized over the course of that event, the more I played full out for myself and didn't have any responsibility for 8,000 other people and their experience, it was all about my experience for me, the longer the line got for people wanting to meet me and take pictures with me during the breaks. And they just said, because I saw you going full out, I could play harder. And I was just learned so much about that
Amazing.
event.
Which is incredible. But I am going to go back to when you first started your story.
Okay.
Not luck. You were not lucky.
No, I was not lucky.
You were brave and bold and strong, and you manifested and created a situation where you got yourself there. Against all odds, you got yourself there, which is remarkable in and of itself. But I think just being such a beautiful, giving, generous, like light of a human, that there was nowhere else for you to sit. You manifested that. Like,
Thank
that's
you
where
so
you were
much.
meant to be. So, but there's absolutely no luck involved.
I feel so, I agree with that. I agree with that, is that I was totally meant to be there. And it was great because I love that you used the word light, that I went in there and realized that one of my limiting beliefs was that you play small to keep people comfortable. Like, that's what you do. It's what I did for like 37 years. And I got to replace that with my light is needed. And every time I start to feel small, I say, no, Sarah, your light's needed.
So,
yeah.
Your light's needed.
so,
That is.
but that's not without risk, right? You have to get outside your
Yes.
comfort zone, and you shared with us yesterday, and I'd like you to share the story with everyone else. So there you are, touching the stage, and Eric and I are behind you, and we're watching, and we're inspired, and we had no idea our paths would cross 3, 4, 5 months later,
Sure.
3,000 miles across the country
know.
here in Maui. Like, what are the odds? And now you're on, the channel, which is amazing, and thank you so much. But you're going outside your comfort zone due to the gratitude. You're going to play hard. You're taking some risks, some knowing, some unknowing. And there were some problems associated with that, or what seemed like problems that turned into opportunities. And walk us through what actually happened.
The fall?
Yeah, the
Okay,
fall.
Yeah, the fall. The infamous fall. Everyone was so worried.
But you know what?
it was so
think
great.
about it. Here you are, where a fall for you is a lot more challenging than for
Totally.
us. And yet some of us able-bodied people that have no disabilities whatsoever aren't really playing hard because we're worried about falling, and yet here you are
Yeah.
taking that full risk, and then you actually fell. So what happened?
I did. So I don't have any tippers on my back of my chair. So I can wheelie up on like little lips and things like that. So, but if I go off balance, I go back. And I am not physically capable yet
Nice yet.
to get from the floor to my chair by myself. I have to have help. So when I go down, it's a really scary moment because then I also have to find my way back up. And a woman came over, and just in the excitement, everyone's hugging and high-fiving, and I did this thing where I would high-five and I would hold for a second, high-five and hold to like make sure I had my balance. So she gave me this hug, and I got off my balance and I went backwards. And for a minute, people didn't realize that I had gone down, not on purpose. Like, they thought I was just having the time of my life. Or
Right.
exorcism. I don't even know what they were thinking. But my business partner comes over and he's like, "You good? You good?" I was like, "No." Like, I just felt this whole shiver of crazy energy up and down the body of when I fell down, and I was just like, I don't know if my legs are gonna walk again. Like, what's happening? I just felt it was electric. So he ended up helping me back to my chair, and then they took me out just to do a one-over and make sure I was okay. And people are I could see their worried faces, and people are trying to high five, and I'm like holding my head, and I'm like, I don't know what to do right now. But so I got out there and they checked me over, and you know, a women's bathroom there was like a hot commodity because the line was forever long.
Seriously.
So I got my own private bathroom. That was amazing. And they took me back and I got a massage. I got a private stretching session. I got to meet all the crew. I got to meet the woman that laid the coals for my lane, who had heard the story of me going across the coals on my hands. Thank you very much.
That's what you
That's
did?
a great story. Yeah. I went
Tell us
across on my
that.
hands.
Are you-
So I know, it's crazy, right? So UPW, like, to say changed my life is such an understatement. So yeah, I got to meet her, which was beautiful, and then I got back to the event, and anytime I needed to go to the bathroom or needed another massage, it was just like, right this way, Sarah. And then after the next day, Tony's private security came over and he said, Tony, he saw what happened. He wants to send you his love. He wants to make sure that you're okay. At one point when Tony was doing the high fives from the stage, he kissed both of his hands and came on down and grabbed me.
Yeah.
And I just felt such love for him. And I thought, because of that fall, Tony knows exactly who I am.
Right.
He knows exactly who I am. And I had a girlfriend who actually used to work as one of his personal assistants. And I reached out to her and I told her the story afterwards. And I just said, I'd like to just send him a thank you. And so I did a video thank you and she sent it on to him. So who knows what he thought of that. But it was still neat to be able to see all the dots line up and know that even a fall, which is super scary for someone that is in a wheelchair, you never know what that's leading to,
Right.
or what that's preventing you from getting yourself into, or, I mean, it's just everything, again, it's just there to elevate us. So, but it was great because as I walked in, again, I think I was just really guided there at that event, because as I walked into the event, people that were part of crew were constantly saying, like, are you gonna do the fire walk? You gonna do it? And I'm like, no, I don't walk, you know? And they said, no, like, you know, we can get you across, we can carry you across. I saw a guy go over on his hands. And so immediately in my head was just the seed of like, there's a way.
Right.
Don't X yourself out. And I connected with a couple other wheelchair users who didn't get the same experience. So again, I don't know what that does, but I was really guided, and I intense gratitude for that. But all of us in the wheelchairs should get that same welcome.
Right, it's the same
Right?
equality,
It should-
whether it's the
yep.
room or the conference itself or the walking
the-
across the coals
Yeah.
or whatever.
To be looking out for us
Right.
and say, there is a way.
Absolutely.
So I ended up partnering up with Dale Foreman, who is now a new business partner. Yeah, crazy, right? It's amazing. So we partner up, and I'm the whole way out there, you know, it's like saying yes, and I'm like, he's probably pissed he got me as a partner. Like, I got the girl in the wheelchair. That's the thought that goes through my head, right? So we get up there, and again, they just put it in my head, and they're like, do you want us to carry you across? And I was like, absolutely not. But what was funny is that, you know, as Tony leads you through that meditation over and over and over, you know, your legs, how fast you walk, all this stuff, I was doing that. I was listening to directions from Tony, following every visual, every word. And then I got there and I was like, I didn't practice this on my hands in my head. Like, I got kind of
Right.
freaked out a little bit, because I get up there and I'm like, now what? So what they did is they ended up pushing me alongside, and I leaned all the way down and smacked it. And they've got a video of it, and you just see the sparks fly, because
Right.
I hit those coals so hard. It was incredible. And I was just like, what?
Yeah.
This is wild. It was so cool. It was so cool. And then as I'm like back there with the crew after the fall, everyone's like, oh, I heard about your firewalk. Everyone had heard about it. And I guess they shared it at the next morning of
Amazing.
like the best story of the firewalk for this event.
Oh my God.
That's what happens when you play full out.
Right.
Like
Hell
that is
yeah.
what happens when you go
Absolutely.
into any scenario and think this experience might be hard, but go for it anyways. And there's going to be limitations, but go for it anyways. There's going to be roadblocks. Go for it anyways, and just go
Amazing.
for it. And even our conversation with you at the pool, because I was thinking about this last night too, it took balls for me to open my mouth and start talking about it. But I knew it. I felt it I've got this feeling in my core that will perk up of like, you need to follow that because you don't know what's going to happen, and you already put this in motion when you start putting it to paper.
Totally. It's great.
Yeah.
So speaking of putting it to paper, let's talk a little bit about sort of business opportunities that you see in the short-term rental space, which may not be what you're pursuing, but then do enlighten us. What are you doing, and how can people get a hold of you and learn more or participate
sure.
alongside?
So my bread and butter is working with women with physical disabilities, and I do fitness and life coaching for them. And it all stemmed from my own physical transformation. Started working with a trainer. He's now my business partner. We came up with Disability Icon. And I tell my girls, like, once you start going through this program, people are going to start to pay attention to you. It is your responsibility to start being a different visual for people. You know, the way you carry yourself, the conversations you have, leading with love, putting that anger down, all of that, being a sense of health and wellness, and that it doesn't matter that we're not walking, we still need to be healthy.
You know what? Able-bodied or not, we need all of that.
Yeah,
right? Like, seriously.
Right.
Just because you're not in a chair doesn't mean that there's not wisdom there, right? Like, we should all do that.
I agree.
It's amazing.
And I do firmly believe that everyone's got a disability.
Absolutely.
So I'm putting, yes.
So is your coaching limited to those that have?
It is literally just opened up to not.
Okay,
just disabilities.
Right, because I can give you
and
list of disabilities I have, but I mean,
I agree. I think
can only imagine what I
everyone's
could learn
got
from you.
something that disables them.
Right.
So December 3rd is International Day of Disabilities, and I am launching a campaign for Disable the Label. So I would like everyone to, on a piece of paper, whatever, you're gonna have your disability. Mine is paraplegia. Someone could be depression. Someone could be eating disorders. Whatever it may be. And that's your label. That's what you've got to get over, right?
Yep.
That can disable you just as much, if not more, than this. Sometimes those invisible disabilities are even that much harder because who you are behind closed doors and what you have to deal with is really hard. So you've got that, and then you flip it over and you get to disable that label. What do you want your label to be? What do you want to empower you?
Right.
Right? So how beautiful is that? So I think the biggest part is just accepting it, knowing you've got it. And then I think once people start to resonate and see, oh, this other person's got depression too, let's talk. Let's figure this out. Let's redefine our lives. So that's campaign number 1. But yes, I've just opened it up to now coaching, life coaching for those without disabilities.
And how do people reach you?
Verticalblonde.com. Everything's
Great.
Vertical Blonde. Vertical Blonde on social media, verticalblonde.com.
Follow
everything.
her, friends.
Please
Follow
give me a
her.
follow.
Yeah.
And I just did my first live event with these women 3 weeks ago in Park City, Utah. It was a beautiful event. We did the most beautiful things. It was mind, body, sense of community, friendships. Everything was built, nurtured, elevated. And so next year we're going to be bringing it to Maui. So Maui
Amazing.
2020 will be vertically. That's what the events are called. But my big baby that I'm venturing in right now is creating a consulting business for people who want to equalize the experience of their establishment. Restaurants, hospitality, anything, storefronts. Airbnb, I think is a big one.
Right.
Honestly,
So-
it is the biggest win-win. If your space is equal for anyone, you are setting a new standard. You are crushing your competition, and you are getting in front of it. That's what I've been trying to get across to the hotels that I've been working with of, you want to be ahead of this.
Totally.
Because it's going to catch up, and then you're going to be forced to.
So,
you can be ahead of the game.
So let me ask you a question. Confirm or dispel this limiting belief that I would have, which would
Okay.
be, if I created a room that gave you equality and you felt equal and so on and so forth, does that make people uncomfortable or unequal that are able-bodied? Right? Or is it like we can cohabitate and it would be equally
Yeah.
comfortable for you and for me? Like, where do you think that is?
Do you know what? I think that's why we start to get away from the ADA rooms.
Right.
That's where, that's why we just get away from, perfect example. This comic has been ingrained in my head. I need to find it on social media or somewhere on the internet. It was great. I saw it a few years ago, and it's the front of a school. It's a snowy day. There's a line of children waiting to get inside the school. There's a custodian with a shovel. There's stairs on one side with the line with the kids, and there's a ramp on the other side with one little boy in the wheelchair. And the custodian says to the boy in the wheelchair, "Wait, I gotta shovel the stairs first so the line of kids can get in the house or in the school." And the little boy says, "If you just shovel the ramp, then we all can get in."
Right.
It's not about making a separate entrance.
Right.
It's about making it the way. It's just the way.
And the beautiful thing is it took a little child to say that, right? Because
Yeah.
otherwise we're ingrained, we're trained in a certain way and we're doing our job or
Yeah.
whatever, right?
Yeah.
So I think
that if we just start making it the way, it's just the standard and it's not separated, because as soon as we put this label on an ADA room, then we've made a separation.
right. Well,
And
if you
I
think
feel
about
separate.
if you think about what's happening in the world that we live in, and it's a really beautiful time to live in this world, all the labels and barriers are being reduced, right? So we have same-sex marriage and all these different
Mm-hmm.
transgender sort of opportunities for people that would be shamed or
Segregated,
hidden or
yeah.
segregated, and now it's equality. We have the Me Too movement, and
Yeah.
you know, there's just so many amazing movements that bring equality to everybody, and yet
I've been saying this for a while, actually.
Inclusive movement.
It is. It's a total revolution. 'Cause first we had race, then we had gender equality, then we've got the females, and now we've got disability. Honestly, like all the
It's-
boxes are being checked, people. It's just about including everybody.
right. And so to that end, there's a real business opportunity here for hotels, for restaurants, for concert and conference facilities, for Airbnbs. I mean, there will be a ton of money made here.
Yes.
And I just want to really thank you for sharing your story with us, because one, I've enjoyed it tremendously, but two, I'm
Good.
really inspired, and I hope others are. And I'd love to give you, you know, the voice, and hopefully
Thank you
something
so
amazing
much.
comes of this. If for nothing else, pure education.
Yes.
But maybe people start to change the way that they think and change what they develop or what they build or buy. Maybe you
Yes.
partner with some individuals and help them create something great. But at a minimum, I'm certain that your future is bright. I mean, how could it be anything
Thank you so
other
much.
than that? Just look at your smile
Thank
and
you.
your grace, and I mean, it's just
Thank you.
amazing.
I'm so grateful, and I got that little feeling in my core. This is good. This is something really great is brewing. I always say that. You never know what's brewing. Like,
There's no
always
doubt about it.
something
Now,
going on.
do you have any questions for us, or otherwise I'm going to, you know, just close it?
I don't think so. I feel like I talked my ear.
Do you have any more questions, sweetie?
Questions? No, I don't think so. Not at this point. I mean, but I just think, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful relationship, and I
agree.
thank you with all of my heart, and thank you for your light.
You're so welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you for receiving it. It feels really good,
Not only are we receiving it, we're amplifying it.
right?
And that's one of the really cool things about my channel and my audience. And it's not the biggest in the world, but they're very loyal, and they
Loyal.
really pay close attention, and they're really
so
growing
cool.
themselves. And so one of the things that I was saying to Eric as we reflected on our conversation by the pool yesterday is, I don't particularly care about influence for influence's sake, or the number of likes or the number of followers, right? That's all about significance.
Yeah.
And that's ego. And I don't want to have ego, and I don't want to have significance. So while I'm sure I'm not immune to it, I really try and keep it at bay.
Yeah.
But one of the beautiful things about having influence and followers is we can share our views and our philosophy and our opportunities and the people and the experiences that we encounter, and grow people and educate and give people like you a voice that needs to be heard. And
Awesome.
it's just, that's where the influence to me is so remarkable, right? I take what's relevant to Erica and I and our community
Yeah.
and share it more broadly, and that is just so gratifying, and I
It's
thank you
super
so much.
cool. It's super cool when you can see something on what seemingly is like very opposite ends of the spectrum, right? Me helping women feel good about themselves again with disability, and you with short-term rental. Like, how beautiful that actually an incredible win-win scenario can take place. So Because if my girls
And-
can get in your business, we're going to be
Well-
giving you money, and my family's going to be giving you money, and those people become extremely loyal. You know, they rent from you once, they will rent from you always, even if I'm not with them.
That's right.
That sets a new standard.
And so imagine having, 14 different ones where you could now visit in Austin and in Dallas and in, Anchorage and Miami. And I'm just trying to pick a diverse. But the other thing is, I just thought of this right now, and I don't know if this is a real opportunity or not, but I think it's a huge one, is this could empower women and others that do have disabilities to become entrepreneurs
Yes.
in their home and welcome people into their home and so on, right? So it could shine a light on.
Huge.
Yeah.
So one of my big visions that I had at UPW was just that kind of that vision that was really driving me through the event was a struggle that I encountered was wanting to work with a lot of these women and a lot of them being on disability checks. They're on a very limited income. And that came up over and over. Like, I can barely pay my bills. I don't have anything extra. I don't know how to make extra. As soon as I start making extra, it takes that out of my disability check. It's this really vicious cycle that this community gets put into. And so they don't have this ability to break free and to move out of that. So yeah, I didn't even think about that, how this could really impact and benefit them.
Right.
So this vision I kept holding and holding and holding was, okay, get these women to a point where they feel so good about themselves. They find ways to become entrepreneurs. They find ways to get into join the workforce in different areas, and they're able to hold that disability check. In my vision, you have a check, even though it's all electronic now.
Right.
But in my vision, there was checks, and we held them over our heads, and we were able to rip that in half and say no more limits.
Well, this could be really powerful. I mean, this is a great way, right? That's one of the reasons that so many people are drawn to Airbnb is that it's the democratization of entrepreneurship. It's a great way to start because all of us we're very grateful. We all have a roof over our head. And so whether we're welcoming people into our homes when we're there, or when you went to Salt Lake to the conference, you could put your house up on Airbnb and start to pay for that trip, right?
Yeah.
So there's all these
I was
ways.
watching that on your video last night. That doesn't even cross my mind of just doing it when you're not there. That makes such perfect sense.
And
So
once you
from
get
someone-
started and you realize that there's people that have that demand, then the light bulb goes off and says, oh, it's not as risky as I thought.
Right. So with a lot of these women renting, and then also here in Hawaii, they did pass a law where you have to own for 5 years. Any insights on getting around that? Anything you've learned?
I just wonder if there's different rental rules if you're providing, disability access or so on. There's all sorts of special things, and I know we're trying to get away from special.
Sure.
But just like it got you to the front and you touched the stage, if you have something special, use it, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if there's exclusions. I haven't done any homework, but I would love the concept of entrepreneurs really getting started using Airbnb and short-term rentals and welcoming other people with disabilities
For sure.
into their home, which are already,
They're already set
accessible,
up,
right?
Yeah.
So that could be huge.
Fabulous
Should look
idea.
into that.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so one
That's
more
cool.
plug.
Okay.
Everybody should reach out to Sarah Foley via verticalblonde.com,
Yes,
right?
that is the way to find me, verticalblonde.com.
Coaching, life coaching,
Yes.
consulting.
Fitness coaching,
Especially
especially for those with disabilities. Wheelchair users is really a specialty on that accord. It's like, I don't know how to show you leg day, sorry. But also, I really do want to get into this and really watch this area grow. I think the consulting for equalizing it is huge, and if anyone is interested on really helping that progress for me, I'm tapping into very uncharted waters, and so I'm all ears. I'm all about soaking up the education right now.
And for those of you who want more, you are going to be on Tony Robbins' podcast on December 26th.
Yes, day after Christmas.
On forgiveness.
So
I'm listening to
yes,
that. You're listening to
so
that.
good.
We're listening to that.
I'm so excited. Yeah, we'll just leave that cliffhanger right there.
There you go.
So I'm really excited, and just the power of being able to say, I forgive you, I love you, and what else? Is it, I'm here to stay, goodbye, what's next? We can still forgive, we can still love, and outcomes can still be different.
Awesome. All right, friends, I hope you enjoyed this as much as we did. Do me a favor and please like the video and subscribe to the channel, and then go directly to verticalblonde.com because she's on fire. She's just getting started, and I promise you, you will see and hear from her again and again and again, and millionaires will be made in this entire space, if not billionaires. I hope you found this video helpful. YouTube has been such a blessing for me because it's allowed me to educate and inspire hundreds of thousands of short-term rental hosts just like you. If you haven't noticed, I have hundreds of videos on my YouTube channel teaching Airbnb hosts a plethora of do's and don'ts. But when you're just starting out, it can be extremely overwhelming. You're probably thinking, what exactly do I do? Or like, where do I start? Well, if that's the case, I have a shortcut for you, and it's a sweet deal. For a very limited time, I'm giving away free access to an exclusive training video where I teach you the most important part of running any Airbnb business, no matter how big or small. The things you'll learn in this training are not available on my YouTube channel. In fact, it's a critical segment of my flagship course that sells for over $2,000. So if you want exclusive access to this training today, so you can block out the noise and get clear on what's the most important for you in your Airbnb business, then click on the button on this video, or visit str.university/training. Again, that's str.university/training. Remember, this is a part of my flagship $2,000 course, and it won't be available for much longer. Simply click the button below to claim it for free right now.